Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your man Ronan, back at it again. You already know the deal. Use the code Ronan10. That'll be your passport to the 8-game lifestyle. This definitely leads you to vitality, strength, focus, and libido. You already know what it is. You see the title of the video, but I'm going to break it down for you. The title of this is going to be Guerrilla Glue. Now, what really led me for the concept for this video and was inspired by not just only the Crimson Cure, but a very dynamic stream today. Much love to her, being the feminine award that's most appreciated, not just in the A-Game family, but one of many that are needed in this space. But I also want to send a shout out to Chris Purnell. You know him as the homie Chris, one of the 5150 OGs. I want to say much love to you and yours, and you helped inspire this video. So first I'm going to go into the definition of what a guerrilla is. A guerrilla is like a member of a small independent group taking part in irregular fighting, typically against larger regular forces. The other definition, or you call them freedom fighters, referring to actions or activities performed in an impromptu way, often without authorization, i.e. guerrilla theater. Now, it's been lingering in my head, but the conversation I had today with the homie Big Chris, a shout out to you, man. It's been a minute. And what really inspired me about this is because it's all due respect to him, and congratulations to him for getting engaged to his lovely lady, wife to be. Definitely proud of him. And we had this conversation like man to man, because we were catching up on stuff. And what really hit me the most is when he described how he did it. And already when he met her, he shared with me, with all due respect, to you, man, he knew. And in many ways, a lot of us as men, using our foresight and intuition, when we see a woman, that when we exercise the 4 T's, which is time, toil, trouble, and threat, that leads the gateway to the 4 P's. We're talking about provision, protection, problem solving, and procreation. And over time, it's not just time served, but when you start looking at the woman you're working with, you start seeing the return of your investment, and seeing how glowingly he talked about this woman is something that you aspire to hear, something you many aspire to see and witness for themselves. But again, some are pretty much stuck in that cocoon of immobility and chaos. But in hearing, my brother talking about how much of an asset she was or is to him, how she carries herself, and the fact that he took the time and effort, and he knew what it was. And shout out to Philly. And when you look at the Rocky movie, I can picture it, how he did it. And the fact that the brother perfectly created a jersey with his last name on there, that was very symbolic to me, because when it comes to people in your life, especially in that intimate part of your life, you need to recognize the team players, the star players on your team. When you can hear the joy and motivation in a man's voice, that says something about certain people. Certain people can bring that out of you. I feel that way around my A-Game family. When you're properly invested into these individuals, as far as when you're connected spiritually, when you have people promote not just the health of each other, but the health of your vision, your dreams, your direction. everything. When you can get around each other and it feels like family, because even in the good book it says like there be others that love you better than a brother or sister. Paraphrasing. Uh, Whenever you go somewhere, they help enhance your appearance. They bring the best out of you. When you think of them, you appear to have this aura of peace of mind, warmth, um, motivation. And then when it comes to your dwelling, individuals like that, whether they be family members, peers, or loved ones we share our intimate space with, they learn those transformative powers to turn, especially where you sleep, lay your head, a house into a home. When you get those eternal five, you start thinking about how you can incorporate them into part of your vision, your program, to maximize the external five. I mean, just you're talking about your mobility, your education, you know, your education, your mobility, your education, your wealth, your profession, and mobility. Excuse me if I'm messing up because I got so much in my head. But I liken that to what we're doing right here with A-Game. And shout out to Dr. Holman, because in many ways, that's just exactly what we are. The gynocracy is great in number, and that's about it. You have a whole legion of magos. You have a battalion of back-footed warriors. You got a whole heap of magos, which are male gynocrats. We're against a seemingly insurmountable force. However, unlike guerrilla warfare, which has a very loose leadership or direction, with A-Game we focus on maintaining SOS, which is system, order, and structure. Now, going back to the homie Chris, he's a creative individual. I've known this for a long time, and that's one of the many things that stands out about Chris. And when he puts his heart and mind into things, he's all into it. It's even more rewarding when you have someone who supports that, someone that encourages you to go forward. And that's the most important thing I wanted to bring about in this dealing with support. Granted, it's a great thing to lead, to be a leader. But even though you're in the front, you still learn the importance of support. Like in the military, if you don't have the supplies, if you don't have that needed communication to basically keep things fluid, to maintain that system, order, and structure, you're done. When you're dealing with these gynocrats, these thought monkeys, individuals that serve you no good, ones that abuse your purpose, waste your time, never worth the toil, always bringing a heap full of trouble, and the threat level is just off the meter. This is where you start reassessing the necessity of the 10 life values. But primarily, you need the internal. I know my brother Sheep Stay Sleep beats himself up sometimes about going in and on the internal, but that is so vital. But the most important thing outside of the internal is that level of support. When you have people who come into your life and reassure you that the direction you're going is solid. And even when you make a mistake, they let you know, look, get your ass up. We're going to find the answers. And I'm here with you to make sure we do. If I don't have the answers, we'll go find them together. We as black men especially have been inundated with this rugged individualism, this mago mindset to where I got to get mine, and you got male gynocrats putting the external 5 over the internal. Some believe that emotional intelligence is feminine. It's amazing how that's being said by individuals who promote themselves in the way that we can label as bitch made. Now, when it comes to support, and you have SOS, when you're working on the 10 life values, and shout out to Kendra for making it key, the first 3 mainly, when you're dealing with the spiritual, knowing who you are, what you're about, why you're here, and what you're willing to do to protect yourself to fulfill your mission. We talk about your health. We're talking about your vitality, living the fullness of life, not just existing or putting up with any nonsense that will shorten your life or the vitality of it. And then we're talking about family. Now, for many of us, that may be a tough spot. But the thing is, when you do have a crew, when you have brothers, when you have actual functioning, level-headed sisters, or you have your people, your partners, your crew, when you have all of them working together, you don't have an echo chamber. You actually arm yourself with information and be a viable think tank. Now, when it comes back to my homie Chris, in many cases, and a lot of guys don't want to admit it, that's one of the very most important things you look for. Someone that you can entrust your vision with, and ultimately your legacy. That's a very important billet. And in the support aspect, with all the things he's looking to do, yes, men can figure out a way on their own to get things happening, but it's a hell of a lot better when you have someone not just feeding you as far as food wise, feeding you the nutrients that get you going externally. You need people to give you that fruit that refresh you internally. And in discussing things about it, we went in length because, again, when you're surrounded by great people and you enjoy seeing your people win, time seems to slip away because you're fully invested in seeing the best out of them. And that's the only thing, one of the few things you want to start going in a circle in the proper context. That's one of the few things. Now, when it comes to the content creators in this space, I have much love to my A-Game family. And we often, for most of us, we're starting to get the picture, like expanding the circle and getting everybody involved and, encouraging people to do the damn thing. And people become more comfortable being their genuine selves because it's a rare thing. But we understand that this is a mission among many that are well beyond us. So the supportive aspect, where I know my brother Bishop Mitches is, like him sticking around because he did think about giving up. But I think about, where would things be if I didn't say anything? Where would I be if I didn't have Kendra to open her heart and mind to many things that I was going through and understanding where I was at? Or I have my brother Tracy to be that wise sage in those times of turmoil, or the bishop himself to help give that spiritual balm to those times where I was going through mental torment. You got Dr. Holman, to where he has that OG leadership, where military savvy, that sound ear, to we can keep me on point, because sometimes I do go off the rails. As men, we can maintain things as best as possible, but again, survival mode comes with its fair share of consequences and rewards. However, when you have an established team who are focused on seeing the best out of you, that's where you learn how to weaponize your masculine light. And that's what many people outside of us deem as dangerous. Because when you are able to do that, there are others who are looking for that same power, that same manifestation of greatness. And that can spread like wildfire, which is intended, especially in this day and age. We're not talking about our traumas and using them as a crutch. That's what lames do. But in celebration of my brother, my homie Chris, for his engagement, in celebration of my A-Game family for not just linking up together, but consistently growing day by day, to all my peers who are listening to this now, who are taking their needed steps, either baby steps or full-grown strides to their purpose. This is where you start capitalizing on the opportunities that you're given. You start making the way in spite of opposition. Because we all know these are some new age snakes where some of them learn, if you listen carefully, you can hear them hissing when they try to give you fake compliments. Some of them call you bro. Some of them call you homie. Some of them grew up with you long enough to see you, how you manage adversity, and some of them can't wait, and you can hear them taste the disdain in their very mouths when they see you go through obstacles that should have took you out, or at least delayed you in order to, give them something to laugh at. Whether they be like homies that you grew up with, bookmark boyfriends and girlfriends, or some of them even birthed you. But when you show that love to yourself and realize how powerful you are, you will let no one miscarry or even abort your ambition. You're here for many reasons. You're here to shake the world. Your presence can be felt anytime you enter a room, anytime you go into an arena. Sometimes you go in certain chat rooms and the whole atmosphere changes. Especially if you're a sound man of principles and purpose. You don't have to do what the Maggles do. You're not a scavenger. Actually, you're a curse breaker. And I'm going to be one of many. They're going to break these damn curses. I'm going to speak greatness into my peers who are listening to this and need to. Because maybe I need to remind myself sometimes. But I can smell it. I can smell the air of wealth. Not just monetarily, but spiritual. Health-wise. You go across the whole board of the 10 life values. You can feel different. You wake up with a purpose. You wake up motivated, knowing like, what is today going to bring? I might not know, but I'm excited to see what's happening. Anything that's thrown my way. And I had to realize this growing up when I made a whole heap of mistakes. And things that should have really kept me down. Some should have fucked me up. A few times I should have been taken out with a whole heap of blood and a mess. But see, that's why I understand now that favor isn't fair. This is what pisses people off when you get up in the morning. When you're up moving around, here goes this motherfucker again. And you damn right. That's the mindset we need to have as men, especially. Because out here, there's a whole heap of propaganda talking about what we aren't, what we're only capable of. But do understand, and I mean this clearly, we choose not to be simps. And those are spiritually impaired mules of provision. You got to earn the 4 P's. But we're going to exercise the 4 T's, not just on the women we deal with, but the peers that wish to invade our atmosphere. You got to vet everybody out. Because again, you have to protect your seed, which is your masculine light, your purpose, your passion, not just in what you do, but who you can gift with your love. I am among many who are no longer afraid to show my true self. Now, there's certain levels to it because, again, You can maintain the cycle of the 4 P's and the 4 T's, but there's levels to it. People have to earn their way. This is no different than a role-playing game, but in real time. And you're doing everything you can to preserve that one good life. And when it's time for you to go, and I remember it from somewhere, but it stick to me, it's like you're supposed to live full and die empty. And that's what I want to see my brothers do. The necessity of support is needed via content creators on and off this platform, because everybody's an artist in their own respective way. And I love to see the beauty in your gifts, unless you're a bullshit artist. So, in closing, you already know what it is. Much love to you, Chris. You know, with all due respect to you, hey man, you definitely inspired me today. Same thing with the Crimson Cure, especially. I say much love to my A-Game family, but you two mainly. You set the fire ablaze today, and I want to thank you both. And I look forward to seeing greatness out of you two and the rest of my family. And if you're watching this, I'm speaking directly to you. Make a promise to yourself that you're going to give yourself a chance every day. Understand you are your greatest investment. I personally don't give a shit what they say about you, what they think about you, what they thought you were, what circumstances you should have been. What do you say? You have the final word. And you continue to apply yourself and invest in yourself, you'd be surprised. You may find yourself in position like my homie Chris, or like where the A-Game and family is going. We know life happens, but the thing is, you got to speak greatness into your existence. You got to will your way to wealth. And with some fine tuning and actually some needed direction, I know myself, my A-Game family, and my peers, and I'd like to see you establish that for yourself. So that being said, I want to say much love to A-Game Nation. I didn't realize it was fucking dark, but you already know what it is. Never allow your comfort zone become your coffin. And when you go to bed at night, put yourself in that prayer. Wake up in the morning knowing that prayer will be brought to fruition. But you got to prepare yourself to be that blessing. Because if you think about it, you might be that prayer that someone's been asking for too. That's why I'm proud of my homie Chris and his lovely fiance. So 5150 Nation, stand up. A-Game Nation, much love to you. Platinum Queens West, we're going to start doing this damn thing much sooner than later. And to all my forward progressive peers, let's get out here, kick ass, and take names. Simplify.